Peace, family. This is Lions Den with another news and commentary. Here we go again. And this is really, really disturbing. This incident over the weekend in Chicago, when it's been a mass shooting, whatever you call it. You know, people gonna say, "Well, that's what I'm talking about, black on black crime again in Chicago." And this is according to the Chicago Sun-Times. It says 3 killed, 19 others wounded in Chicago shooting this past weekend. And this is really disturbing. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article. It says, following a recent dip in gun violence as the city withstood a polar vortex, at least 22 people were shot in Chicago this weekend, including 2 killed and 5 wounded in a drive-by outside a Far South Side bar. At 2:01 a.m. Sunday, at least one shooter inside a silver Ford unleashed a hail of gunfire at a mass of people outside of Reynolds Lounge, which is 938 East 75th Street in the Grand Cross neighborhood, according to Chicago police. So if you live in the Chicago area, I believe, and I know you know where this incident took place. It says 4 men and 3 women in the crowd, which have spilled out there after a fight inside the bar, were struck, police said. Marvin Powell, 36, was shot in his neck and chest and later died at the University of Chicago Medical Center. Police and the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office said he lived in South Shore. Jeremy Carruthers, 39, was shot in the chest and back and died at the same hospital, authorities said. He lived in the Park Manor neighborhood. Another man, 36, remained in critical condition at Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn with a gunshot wound to the back, police says. The 4th man, 18, was shot in the shoulder and brought himself to the University of Chicago Medical Center in good condition. 2 of the women, 36 and 35, were taken to St. Bernard's Hospital in good condition, police says. The 3rd woman, 33, declined medical treatment for a graze wound to the arm. Police said it is unknown whether the 7 people were the actual targets and whether they were part of the fight inside. This is really, really scary. And this is another situation. It says another gun murder unfolded later that morning in the Southside Washington Park neighborhood. The man, thought to be between the ages of 30 and 35, were found at 5:24 a.m. in the 6,000 block of South Michigan after suffering gunshot wound to his left side, police said. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The medical examiner's office didn't immediately confirm his death. Police said officers were unable to find any witnesses to the shooting. In the 30-minute preceding the Reynolds Lounge attack, at least 4 other shootings were reported in the city. Those shot including a 17-year-old boy wounded at 1:28 a.m. by a drive-by shooting in Archer Heights, a man hit by a bullet at 1:32 a.m. outside the 79th Street station of the CTA Red Line, which is a subway up there in Chicago. Continue on. A man attacked inside an alley at 1:35 a.m. in Fifth City, and a man discovered in critical condition with multiple gunshot wounds in Inglewood. Also that night, another shooting that wounded multiple people was reported in the West Town neighborhood. At 3:55 a.m., 2 males fired at 2 women and a man as they were leaving the parking lot of the BP's gas station at 101 Northwestern Avenue, police said. The women, 30 and 29 years old, were sitting in a vehicle, and the man, 26, was about to also get inside. A police source said the man was possibly the intended target. The 30-year-old woman was struck in the back and taken to Stroger Hospital in critical condition, police say. The other woman was shot in the hand and brought to Mount Sinai Hospital in good condition. The man was hit in the lower backside and taken to Stroger Hospital. The bulk of the weekend's gun violence happened from Friday night to just before dawn Sunday. No shootings were reported Friday evening, Sunday afternoon, or early Monday morning. The weekend began at 5 p.m. Friday and concluded at 5 a.m. Monday. During that period, gun violence in the city ramped up considerably after a relatively quiet week. When the polar vortex swept Chicago with sub-zero temperatures from 6 p.m. Tuesday to 10 p.m. Thursday, only 2 shootings were reported. Last weekend, at least 8 people were wounded and none were killed, marking 2019's first weekend with no reported gun murders. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go again with this. And you notice it always happens on weekends or holidays when it comes to this. And, you know, the incident in Chicago, you know, when shootings over there, basically we have never heard any shootings until this past weekend. And obviously, we have mass shootings in Chicago. Once I told you before, you know, it's really odd that we have so much shootings in the Chicago area. And you got, so far you got, you know, 20 people been shot. At least 20 people. 3 killed. And I told you before, it's been relatively quiet for the last couple of months in Chicago. And then starting in 2019, this weekend, this happens. And it happens in the worst cold weather in history. So, again, this is really shocking. Well, really not surprising, but it's really shocking because it was relatively quiet for the last couple of months. And this weekend, this past weekend, it's happening again with 20 people shot and 3 killed. So it's really, you know, it just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that, you know, the city of Chicago always have violence. But it, again, like I said, it's been relatively quiet the last couple of months. And the polar vortex, which brings the coldest weather in history in this country, and now incidents like this happen in that city. So, you know, it's, again, we really don't know if it's gang members that's doing this, because we hear all this time, every time there's been a shooting in Chicago, it happens either in the holidays or on the weekends. You don't hear nothing on weekdays. You don't hear nothing at night, but only on weekends and on the holidays. And here we go again with this. So leave a comment, tell me what you think about this, share this video, subscribe my YouTube channel, subscribe my reaction channel, and subscribe my Black Junction channel for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. Deuces.